Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. This is the last and final session, session 12 of the Life Coaching Mentorship Series with Heather Wilson, season 2. And you all are going to get to see how I facilitate a last coaching session with a private client. It looks and feels a lot different from all of the previous sessions, and we're going to be going over Heather's answers from the exit survey she filled out this week, and then we'll be doing just celebrating and acknowledging like crazy from all of Heather's success and breakthroughs over the past 3 months, and then we'll figure out what does support look like for her moving forward so she can continue moving forward with her goals. Heather, I would love for you to quickly explain to our audience, why are you in a car right now doing the coaching session?
So I'm in the car right now doing the coaching session because we're on our way to Arizona. We're taking a little vacation, doing some dispersed camping and just decompressing from the past year and just taking some time to be with nature and tap into our creativity.
Yeah.
So it's a little bumpy, and my camera hopefully doesn't make people car sick.
Well, they can take some Dramamine while they watch this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to pull up the exit survey that Heather filled out today. And just to let you all know what I do. So what I used to do in the past is I would have the last coaching session and then I would send the exit survey afterwards. And what happens when you do that is it doesn't get done. And it's not because my clients didn't want to do it. It's just they forget, they put it off. So now what I do is from the second to last session, I make it a requirement. And I say, before we can do your last coaching session, you need to fill out the exit survey so that way we can go through your answers together. And so ever since I've been doing it that way, it always gets filled out, which is great because there's a lot of really great gems in the exit survey that we'll go over today. So I just wanted to add in that piece of information for anyone who's struggling with getting their clients to fill out, like getting testimonials in the exit survey done. So if anyone is wondering, 17 Hats is the program that I use to send all of my stuff out to my clients. Like I do client notes in here, I do invoicing, I do questionnaires, contracts. It's the best. So actually I will put my affiliate link for 17 Hats if anyone wants to check it out in the description section below. So, all right, Heather, when you were, and we'll go through each of these individually, but when you were going over, or when you were filling this out today, did anything jump out at you or surprise you by the answers that you were putting in?
Yeah, the relationship one. Did you notice your relationships improve? And just sharing kind of reflecting on that. So, and I noticed some relationships improved and then some, one relationship shifted, two relationships shifted really with my mom and my stepdad. And that's just because I, have learned how to speak up and set boundaries and so that one really stood out to me, kind of showed a lot of growth and also, things that I was avoiding, trying to keep the peace and what that cost me. So it was good reflection.
Interesting. So the relationship with your, let's see, who did you say it was with again? With your...
my mom and my stepdad.
So the relationship with your mom and your stepdad, you feel like improved and shifted the most in the past 3 months?
Well, it didn't improve. It actually, that relationship decreased. So, but my other relationships improved drastically, and those two relationships kind of have shifted in I wouldn't say it's a negative way because it's stuff that's been like brushed under the rug for years that just finally came up, and it was time to address it. And I was finally in a place where I could address that and I could speak my truth, and make a choice to not because I made a choice to not have my stepdad in my life anymore because of just emotional abuse that's been happening since I was a teenager. And, I felt like I had to put up with it then, but I realized, I'm an adult and I don't really need that in my life anymore. And, I don't choose to surround myself with people who put me down and just aren't there to love me up and support me and like say nice things. So it's caused a lot of conflict between my mom and I because of that decision. So that's been really challenging and sad and all the emotions. But I have faith that things will, work out in the end. But right now it's very much bumpy and messy as we navigate these unknown waters.
Thanks for telling us that. I had no idea. And so were you saying that in the past 3 months then that you cut off that relationship with your stepdad?
Yeah, it was since Christmas. That's when we had the conflict. And so, since Christmas, I've cut off that contact with him.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me. And I guess in a way that did improve your relationship because like you said, you're no longer available for people to abuse you, to talk down to you, to not add value to your life. So that is incredibly strong of you to say, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It was really scary to do, but, I'm just at a point in my life where I have to speak my truth. I have to honor what feels best for me. And, I no longer need to put myself in uncomfortable situations and just feel uncomfortable around people. It's not worth it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's a massive breakthrough. And that's a huge part of your niche that it sounds like you're going to be serving now moving forward, is helping women who identify as people pleasers and helping them to form boundaries and speaking up and sharing your truth. And so, it just makes sense that you had to do so much of that work yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So that way you're really ready and prepared to help women do those similar type of things.
Yeah, it feels like I got a crash course of that myself as I stepped into, just announcing to the universe that this is what I want to do to help other women with. So it's like, okay, well, here's this experience and let's see what you do with it. So
it's like, okay, Heather, let's put all your stuff out on the internet for anyone to see it. You said that you wanted to get better about being visible and speaking up. Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Wow, that's huge. And a lot of times, so just to let everyone know that the reason I ask the questions I do is I really want to track the results of the clients that I work with and be able to have measurable results of things like confidence, relationships, self-esteem, health, money, clients, all those things. And so a lot of times I would say probably the two top things that improve for my clients, hands down, 100% of the time, is their personal confidence improves and all their relationships improve in their life, or they shift or change in some way. I don't want to always use the word improve because like you demonstrated today, Heather, that you wouldn't necessarily say the relationship with your stepdad improved, but it shifted. The relationship shifted in a way that it's working better for you in your life right now.
Right.
So that's really cool to see the value behind life coaching and how powerful it is. So that being said, let's go through some of these together. So you said, okay, where were you at in your life and business when we first started working together? You said, I was just starting my coaching business from scratch and I didn't feel very clear about the direction I was going with it. Is there anything else that you want to add to that, Heather?
I was just really nervous and uncertain of just stepping into coaching in general. I think at that point when I first got in touch with you, I was really trying to talk myself out of it. But I still wanted to, I wanted to give it my all and give it a really good go, but I knew that I needed help staying motivated because I was starting to spiral into the inner critic conversations, and I needed somebody there to hold my hand and help me, stand back up, because I think I was kind of like feeling really low at that point. So just needing emotional support and also the tools and resources that I was kind of lacking at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And accountability. I think accountability is a huge thing, because when I didn't want to let you down. So it's sometimes easier to let myself down, but when there's somebody else that is holding me accountable and I'm working with on these goals, like I am very honorable to commitments, and that's super important to me and with an integrity for me. So it was really important for me to not let you down. And that is what I needed for my motivator at the time when I wasn't able to motivate myself.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's common for a lot of new life coaches as they're starting to build the habits and the momentum with working in their business every day, every week when they've never done it before. And it's so easy to not prioritize it or put it on the back burner. And so, yeah, working with a coach is really great accountability to make sure that you're showing up each week and following through with the goal. So that makes me happy to hear that, the accountability was really helpful for you.
Yeah, that was really big.
Awesome. Okay. So then the next one is, compared to your answer above, where are you now in your life and business? You said, I'm more clear and confident in my business, and I have more structures and systems in place. I've also been able to create a 6-week program to take women through, which I'm excited about. Yay. That's always amazing. So when you say you have more structures and systems in place, what does that look like for you?
I have a lot of the resources that you shared with me, and a lot of things to plug in whenever I go and do marketing for my for a challenge, a 3-day challenge, or with my program. So I have those resources to use. I have more systems, I think, the questionnaire, where I can make questionnaires and where I can make different literature and the contract. And so getting a lot of those systems in place for starting the things that I would share with my client when they first sign up. So I have all of those things now, and I have the exiting survey and all of those things. And so yeah, just a lot of different systems like that. I guess it would be more like having technology, understanding more what technology to use. And then also just, I was able to create more of a structured program for my 6-week program and get a clearer idea on how that looks. And work with creating modules and all of that. So yeah, I think that's where I started to learn how to have more structure there.
That's
and
awesome.
creating, yeah.
And why do you feel like having structure and systems in place for your business is so important for you?
They're really important because when you have a framework to work with that's repeatable, and so being able to repeat it over and over is really important, because that's what is create success, is consistency, being consistent, right, and having repeatable systems that you can just plug things in. Plus it makes my work a lot easier whenever I have a system that I can just plug anything into, and I've already learned how to do that, and then it just becomes easier every time from there. Absolutely. And I just get, then you can just get better and better at what you do, instead of, when you're in the learning phase where it's a lot to absorb and take in and, create at first.
Yeah, you don't want to have to be recreating the wheel every week in your business. So you're right, when you have these repeatable processes that you use, and then this strong foundation, it just sets you up for success and making it feel so much easier to find consistent clients and making money. So that makes me really happy to hear. I feel like that's so important for a business owner.
Yeah, and that was what I was missing. So that was really important for me to have a better understanding of. Yeah.
Great. Okay, and then the next question I ask is, what, if anything, was missing from your coaching experience? Any specific topics or areas that you would have liked to have been coached around on a deeper level? And the reason I ask this is I just want to be open to feedback, and I want to know if there's anything that I can improve for future clients. So Heather said she couldn't think of anything, but if anything comes up, I'm always open to hear your
Yeah.
ideas. So yeah, that's the reason why I asked that question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Thanks. Yeah, it can be hard to ask for feedback, but it's also really important too if we, as coaches and business owners, if we want to continue to grow and develop and create, really amazing programs for our clients, then we have
Right.
to be open to receiving that feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can fine tune things moving forward even better,
Right. Definitely. Absolutely. Okay, so the next one, this is my favorite question, is what is the most valuable and transformative breakthrough you had during our time together? And I would have, I always like to try to guess what are my clients' answers going to be before they answer. And so I had something very similar in my mind to what Heather answered. So that's awesome. So it means we're on the same page. So she said,
Nice.
my biggest breakthrough was around my personal relationship with money and my own worth and value. I had a huge shift around both of those, which have opened up so much space for me to receive more abundance, love, and support from the universe and others. And I could see that each week. I could see that you were, feeling more worthy of everything in your life, of receiving love, of receiving support, of receiving material things.
Yeah.
I think there's still some room to receive or to practice on really receiving money from paying clients. I think that's going to be the next level. But this was a really great foundation to have before I think you can get to that point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think this was really foundational for setting me up for that next step whenever I move into, receiving paid clients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot more receptive to money and love and compliments than I did in the beginning. That's for sure. And less apologetic for existing. I used to just be really apologetic for just taking up space. And
Right.
I feel like I'm a lot more just like owning my space,
Mm-hmm.
and like feeling like it matter, I matter, and it's important for me to be here and I deserve to be here too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 100%. Love it. All right. And then I said, how do you plan to practice or embody this new breakthrough going forward? She said, I plan to continue to up-level my life by trusting that I'm always supported and to continue to bring the vision of my future self into fruition now. That is beautiful. Yeah, that's a good feeling to know and feel that you are supported, because it's like when you're supported, you're so much more likely to take bigger risk, and you're so much more likely to trust yourself. So support is everything. So I love.
Yeah, and the trusting myself, that's been a huge thing that's come from since we've started coaching together, working together. I definitely trust myself and my intuition a lot more, which has made it a lot easier for me to step into who I am, and then just like having the vision of my future self, what that looks like, and then just acting, like making decisions now that reflect how I see myself in the future, but just being that now. So that's been really, really powerful for me too. Is like, what would she wear? What would she eat? What would she say to this person? What would she do in her daily life? And all of that. So that's been really fun to play with.
And did you, have you been doing the future stuff because of that future meditation from the Playing Big book?
Actually, I realized that I was naturally doing it. And then when I read it in the book, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm doing. Okay. So then it helped me anchor that in more and go deeper into that. So because I wasn't really consciously doing that, it just was naturally happening. So that it just kind of put it all together for me. Oh, that's what I'm being guided to do. Okay. So it was pretty neat.
That's awesome. Yeah, and just to let everyone know what Heather's talking about, and in the book she's reading, Playing Big, they have this really powerful future self meditation. And this is a lot of the work I do with my clients as well, is like having them have conversations and stepping into the shoes of their future successful self that has achieved and accomplished all their goals, and making decisions in their business from that lens, right? Because it's so easy to want to run our business from like, I don't know if it's going to work, I don't know if I'm going to find clients, I don't know if I'm going to make money. And that's not an empowered place at all to run your business. So if you're like, okay, my future self 20 years from now, she has all the money she wants, she knows exactly how to get clients, she's not afraid to take risks, like, what would that version of me, say about this or make a decision around this? And it's such a way better place to run your business from.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. It helps me stay out of the anxious scarcity mode for sure. A lot of times, just like whenever I tap into that energy and that essence of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to keep going. So let's see, I'm trying to wonder, I think we have time to, go through the rest of these. Okay. So the next one is, did you notice your income increase? And if so, by how much? And she said, yes, my income increased by at least $300 a week. Plus I received other bonus paid gigs here and there through babysitting, princessing, and modeling. That princess. And this is the thing. I know that you went into this saying that I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you had, an expectation that you were going to be making the amount of money you wanted through your coaching business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, right, we know we have to be open that the money will come how it's meant to show up. And it can come in from all kinds of different sources. And when it's ready to come in through your business, it will, but you don't have to put that pressure on your business, because that's not going to help anything. So I like that you were just, you could have been like, oh, I'm so bummed, like my business didn't make any money these past 3 months. But I mean, it did in a way, just maybe in a way that you thought it wouldn't have. And that's how the universe works. It's like we put in our order, we say, okay, I want X, Y, and Z, but I also trust that it will show up in the way that it's meant to show up at this time.
Yeah. And it definitely showed up, through other sources and other ways that brought me a lot of joy. So I see it as a win.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yay for more money. Okay, so we already talked about this, but I'll just quickly read it. Did you notice your relationships improve? If so, which ones changed the most? Yes, my relationships with my friends got closer. My relationship with my partner deepened. And my relationship with my mom has gotten more painful and uncomfortable as I've gained more confidence to set boundaries and stick to it. So like I said, we already, kind of went through that. And most people who work with life coaches will know that will notice their relationships will dramatically shift. Because really what happens is once you start working on yourself, once you start approving of yourself, loving yourself, feeling like you are enough, feeling like you're worthy, you will see all of your relationships change. Like we always want to focus on the relationship. We always want to try to fix the relationship, change the relationship, but that never ever works. We have to work on ourselves first.
And one thing that I left out there was I also have noticed a change in my relationship with my son. As I've been getting more confident, I've been able to set more boundaries with him and, in like a more loving way. And I've been able to communicate better when there's conflict instead of, getting really fiery. We're just able to handle that better. And I've just felt like, especially the past few weeks, that's really improved my relationship with him and the dynamic between him and my son, or my partner. I think we've all been getting along really well. So
good. Isn't setting boundaries so fun?
It is. It's definitely getting fun to set boundaries.
I know it can be so scary at first, but once you really lean into it, it can be so much fun and so joyful.
Yeah, Yeah, sometimes my partner, he just gave me a look. Sometimes he's like, I don't know, he said something the other day that was really funny about the boundary setting. Yeah. But anyway.
If you think of it, you'll have to tell us before the end of the
Yeah.
session. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So next one is, did your confidence and self-esteem increase? If so, how could you tell? Yes, my confidence increased a lot. Like I said, 100% of my clients always say this, which makes me so happy. I notice that I hold myself differently when I speak to others. My voice isn't shaky or uncertain anymore. I speak with more clarity and confidence. I make eye contact more now and I stand tall. I speak up when I feel uncomfortable, hurt, or I want to share my opinion. And you know what what I think was the hardest part in our journey, Heather, and was probably the best part, was when you had told me after I had triggered you, after like one of them, it was like the third coaching session or something. And I was just like so impressed with how well we were both able to work through that, and how you like gave yourself permission to speak up that you were triggered. And so yeah, that was like really cool that that had happened, and that we both like let that be such a learning and growing moment in that situation.
Yeah, I agree. That was a really powerful experience for me too. Well, for you to just receive it so well, because I was so nervous to share that, like, I was triggered and that I was feeling, emotional around this certain, that certain topic. And so, yeah, you just received it so gracefully and so, like, with gratitude, just like grateful because it helps you grow. And I just felt so heard and supported in my sharing of that. So that was like really healing for me, because I've not, received that kind of response, a whole lot in my life. So that was really, really awesome.
Oh, thank you for saying that. And
Yeah.
I've had to do a lot of work around that, and it's not perfect by any means, but right, if we're going to be leaders, if we're going to be truth tellers, thought leaders, and if we're going to powerfully put ourselves out in the world, we have to be okay with triggering people. And if we make that a bad thing, that we're harming or we're hurting, we're never going to fully share our message and our full self. So I've had to get comfortable and like practice saying over and over again, it's okay to trigger people. It's okay to trigger my clients. And I trust that it will work out in the way that it's meant to. So that makes me really happy to hear that that work I have been doing has paid off, and that it was also so good for you to see, like, yeah, it's I can speak up about these situations. It's safe to speak up about these situations, and who knows what you'll take, that you'll be able to take from that situation and use it in your own life and business moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you've definitely done a lot of work, because it can be so easy to take things personally, and you did not. And it was just like, wow, she really like listened, and it was so awesome. So good job on all the work you're doing to be able to have that conversation so effortlessly as you did.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is, did you notice your health improve? So this I would say is like maybe like 50-50 with my clients. If so, what specifically did you notice? Weight loss, increased energy, lower stress, improved sleep? So you said my health has actually decreased, but that's because I haven't been allowing myself to have moments of rest, but I'm on my way to a 10-day vacation, so that should help me rebalance. So, thank you for being honest with where you are at with this. What has not been allowing you to have the moments of rest that you really need?
I think it's the like this old pattern of tying my worth to my productivity. And so it's because I haven't been like focusing super like hardcore or just a lot, I haven't been focusing much on my business the past month or month and a half, the way that I was in the beginning. So I think because of that, I started to up my productivity in other areas with like house cleaning and with just other activities, dishes, dinner, and like made myself feel busy and productive in other places. And I know that I tend to do that because I feel like it's not okay for me to rest and like chill and not do anything. So I guess I was feeling disappointed in myself and guilty that I wasn't putting energy into my business for a while, like, because I guess I just needed a break to focus on some other things.
That makes sense.
But I felt a lot of guilt around that, and just like that wasn't okay. And I felt, just judged. I think I judged myself for that. So, so that definitely affected my health. And then just staying up late, and just not allowing myself time to rest, just pushing myself too hard physically and emotionally, I think, and not allowing space to decompress and like process my emotions, because I've had a lot of emotions since the conflict with my mom that's come up that I've been working on, but there's definitely still a lot there to process. So I think I was just keeping myself busy for a while to avoid dealing with some feelings too. So
that's a real thing. And I talk about this in my upcoming book, Beyond the White Picket Fence, of how like I myself have an addiction to busyness. When I'm it's hard to sit still. Right. And it's like when we sit still, then you have to feel everything in your life that you don't want to feel. So a lot of times we will choose to fill up our days with like overbooking ourselves or doing errands or housework or saying yes to commitments we don't really want. Because you're right, it's so hard to rest. It is so hard to chill out a little bit. So that being said, Heather, how would you want to improve that situation moving forward?
This trip will help me. My focus, during this trip is to reset, get back on a schedule. So, where I go to bed at an early time, I wake up early, and I meditate. So I put myself first. I do my meditation because I kind of got off track with that. So meditate, journal, self-care first in the morning, and then go into business stuff, and then just making time daily to journal, even just a little bit, I think will help me a whole lot with the emotional suppression. Watching how I'm spending my time in the evenings, because my partner and I started watching like a series on TV, and it's like really intense, and it's like I get so involved in it emotionally, and it sends me into like fight or flight. So I think that really affected my adrenals. So I'm like dealing with adrenal fatigue right now. And just really watching what I'm consuming, food wise, entertainment wise, because I usually, I don't really watch TV. I don't watch TV, but we kind of started watching a few Netflix shows, to entertain ourselves in the evening. But so I want to be more conscious about what I'm consuming in every area of my life, and get more just aware, and also more conscious about it, making better choices.
And that's a common thing for empaths. You identify as an empath, right? So I'm reading this really awesome book right now. It's called Energy Healing for Empaths. And it talks about that. Like, you're right, we have to be so careful. I identify as empath as well. We have to be so careful with what we consume in all forms, like the things we watch, the things we listen to, the foods we eat, the environments we put ourselves in, because we're so sensitive to everything. And you're right, it really like takes an emotional toll on our bodies. And again, that's where those boundaries come in, right? So
right.
That's great that you have that awareness of like, I know that I need to be really mindful of the things that I say yes to, or else I know like, what happens moving forward.
And that definitely, I noticed it pretty soon as it came up, because it's happened in the past when I have health issues, so I knew right away what's going on, and had to look at
great, because you could have like beating yourself up and said, oh, like this sucks, and why is this happening again, and blah blah blah. Or you can say, oh, be curious, this is interesting, why is this coming up right now, where's this happened in the past, how did I you know, how did this situation improve in the past with whatever I did? So that's really great that like you used evidence of what worked in the past and kind of like were able to self-coach, self-diagnose through what was going in that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
One thing I want to make a suggestion to as well, Heather, is, and my intuition is saying to say this, so let me know if this isn't correct for you or not, but I'm kind of sensing that maybe you still associate with working on your business, anything you do in your business, like whether it's marketing or creating content or selling or anything, does that feel like it's like self-care and healing for you? Or does that feel like it's draining and taxing and overwhelming for you?
I'd say some of it feels draining, some of it energizing. I think just feeling like an obligation to make it happen right now is like the pressure of it feels draining. But whenever I sit down and I actually start working on it, I feel super energized. But I think it's just the whole like thinking about all the different things that have to take place before this can really come to fruition. I think that's what kind of gets me into overwhelm. Getting ahead of myself, thinking too much into the future instead of just being present with one task at a time.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because what I found with a lot of people, and I used to be this way as well, is that a lot of times we look at our business as like all of these negative things, right? It's going to be a burden. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be hard. And then it's like when we have that relationship with it, it's like, yeah, we don't want to do it. We don't want to show up for it because who wants to do hard things that drains us and takes away from our life. So what I've been doing with a lot of my personal clients is just helping them to improve their relationship with their business first, because then once you start like looking at your business as like, wow, this is a place for me to heal. This is a place for me to get energized. This is a place for self-care. This is a place for carrying out my purpose. This is a place to get re-energized and inspire others. Then it makes it so much easier to show up for it every day. And instead of like saying, well, do I want to do self-care or do I want to run my business? It's, you can make it both.
Right.
Time, which I think is so important.
Yeah, I really love that, just kind of that mindset shift there, because running my business affords me the ability to self-care, and it provides me a really comfortable, cushy life that I'm really wanting, a slower pace, more, where I have more control over, what I do in my day and with my time. And so, yeah, you're right. It is like a blessing in that way and something to befriend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will definitely adopt that mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that. And then like you said too, it's like you don't have to figure out all the steps in the future. Like you just saying, okay, we're here today. What's the, biggest task that I can accomplish today? Taking things one day at a time, one task at a time is really great for people who are prone to overwhelm, myself included. So, yeah, great mindset shifts. Okay, next question is, how many new customers, clients were you working with before you hired me? How many new clients, customers did you sign on while we were working together? So obviously this is very specific to someone who's running a business. You said I was working with one pro bono client when I signed with you, and I currently have 0 clients because I'm building a group coaching program and I'm not taking on one-to-one clients at this moment. So yeah, I remember that you did have a big shift around that and figuring out like one-to-one clients just didn't feel right. You feel more called to lead people in group settings, whether it's, workshops or group programs. And we spent a lot of the time, getting ready for you to launch this upcoming 6-week group program. So that, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next question is, do you think you'll continue to hire coaches for support throughout your life journey? You said yes. So that's great. That makes me happy to hear. Most people, once they start hiring coaches, they don't ever go back. Like it feels so good to be supported and to accomplish your goals and your dreams that it's like, well, why wouldn't I keep hiring coaches?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
It just makes so much sense. Like if you have a goal that you're wanting to work on, like it's just wise to get a coach to help you move through that quicker, to get there quicker, you know.
100%. Yeah.
Expedited. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My most favorite thing in the world is like hiring my next coach and just getting like all that attention and that love and knowing like I'm going to be in such a different space 6 months from now. And it's just, it's hard. It's not easy work. It's hard to grow. It's hard to step out your comfort zone, but it's the results are so amazing.
Yeah. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Okay, so what's next for you in terms of growth? How do you plan to continue making progress around the goals you've been working on the past 6 months? Or sorry, for you, this would be 3 months. These are for my 6 months clients. But you said, I plan to continue building my 6-week group coaching program and get it launched by June. I'll keep working on the goals we set and needle moving activities. I have a great understanding now of everything I need to do to have a successful business, and I will continue taking steps each day to implement those things. That's great. Anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, just, taking one step at a time and staying focused. I just feel like, I'm starting to get focused again. I know that this trip is going to be it's just going to shift me back into creation, getting back into my creativity and really getting some balls rolling. I'm feeling really excited and energized to move forward with my program. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. And then what does support look like for you moving forward? What would you like to explore us working together again around a different goal you may have, or go deeper at the current goals you've been working on? You said, I have great support moving forward from my partner and my close friends. I also have a lot of tools and resources I gained from our sessions together, and I have the replays of our sessions I can watch for refresher. I love that. And then I'm open to exploring more goals with you in the future, but for right now, I feel like I have everything needed to get things moving. I'm excited to put everything I've learned from you into action. So I love this. And a big part of this exit survey is, like helping you to get really clear of, what does support truly look like for you, so that way you can keep making progress. And I don't get to decide that for you, right? Like you really have to empower yourself around that. And I always like to be honest with my clients and saying, like, if you want, we can keep working together. You can sign another contract. I would say about maybe like 50% of my clients, want to do another contract with me. And then the other half, some will put a pause on coaching and they're like, I just want to process everything that I've learned over the past 6 months or however long we've been working together. And then some will go on to hire different types of coaches. So I just graduated a client last month who decided at the end of our session or at the end of our package, that she wanted to be a boudoir photography person, business owner. I don't know what you would call that, but she wanted to be a photographer, which she just, realized in the 6 months of us working together. And so she was like, I realized that I have a lot of gaps around, how to best take a photo. And I feel like the words are getting stuck in my head. What am I trying to say? She's, basically she was like, she wanted to hire a mentor who has experience with launching a photography business, because she still felt like she had a lot of gaps. And so like, for that, it would not make sense for her to keep working with me. Like I could support her around her goals, but if she's looking for specific advice around of getting a photography business startup, like it makes sense for her to work with someone like that. And so I have to lower my ego, and I have to say, like, I trust that my clients know exactly what they need, and I'm not going to pressure them to say yes to working with me again, but I'm going to fully trust that they will know exactly what they need, and they will ask for support, whether for me in that moment or in the future they'll come back. I've had clients that have come back a couple years later. So that's why I put that there forward. But did you have any other thoughts or questions around that one, Heather?
No, I definitely love that one. That was a great question. And yeah, like I've gained so much from this. So I'm in the category of like wanting to process everything. And for me, I feel like it's just action. I'm just in a phase of putting everything into action. So I'm looking forward to rewatching all the videos. I feel like I need to rewatch them all now that I'm like on the other side of the coaching sessions, and I feel like I've grown so much, so I want to go back and rewatch them all, because I know there were so many good nuggets in there, and I want to like take notes and write them down. And now that I'm taking action and implementing things, I can go back and grab those action steps that we talked about in each different category that we talked about things. So yeah, so I'm excited to like get it going, and then later on down the road, if whenever I am moving into taking paid clients and all of that, yeah, like I don't know what's gonna come, so I'm totally open to receiving more coaching then, or help with my next goal, so I'm totally open to that.
Absolutely. I love that. And I will be here with welcoming, opening arms for whatever you need moving forward. I always like to say that I'm your life coach for life now, and I'm here to support you and, just to, keep the relationship going. Like, I don't believe in being like, okay, this is it. We're never going to talk again. You're not paying me, so we can't collaborate.
Yeah.
You can't message me. Like, I don't want unfortunately, that happened with my first life coach. Something weird energetically happened at the end of our time together, and she like won't talk to me anymore now, and it like breaks my heart, because like we worked together for a year, and she was like, I talk about her in my book, and she was like one of the biggest influences in my life when I was going through my shitstorm in 2016. And like, I don't know what happened, but I always was like, okay, I want my clients to know that they can have a relationship with me for the rest of their life, no matter whether we're like officially in a coaching container or not. So I just, I hope you feel like that, Heather, that I'm here to support you and be here for you no matter what.
Yeah, I definitely do. I feel the welcoming.
All right. And then the second to last thing is, so this is a big way that I build my business is through referrals. So that's why I put this here. And I said, who do you know in your life that could benefit from working with me? Feel free to list their names and contact info below. And so I do give $100 referral bonus for anyone who would end up signing on with me that you would refer. And so I see that you listed a name. And so what I would recommend is, if you feel comfortable with this, Heather, you can always introduce us in a Facebook Messenger or email, and just and I can always like get on a call with her, a free call with her, and just meet her and talk to her and see how I can best support her, without any pressure that she has to work with me. But I'm curious, like, how come you put this woman's name down?
Well, she has the princess business that I work for. So, and I just thought that, so she's, working on that, and I just see like she could really take that like to a whole another level. I just see so much like amazing potential in her. She's just such a genius, creative genius. And like, I just want to see her succeed so much. So I just thought that, maybe having a coach might help her reach some goals that she has, and just help her get things like really fine tune with like systems and stuff like that, because I think systems would be really awesome. Like, she's doing great in what she's already created, but I think that, some extra systems or foundation would be awesome, and could really just like, man, she could go anywhere with it. So yeah, I just love her and want to see her so successful. So yeah, she came to mind.
Perfect. Well, I fully trust your intuition. And then do you feel comfortable and like know what to say for the introduction, or would you want me to put together something for you on what to say?
I think I'm confident in what to say. Yeah. Thank you for offering.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes, people aren't really sure like how to approach that. And I've been doing this for years with like connecting people and inviting people to work with me, and doing in a way that feels very inviting and welcoming, and not from a place of, like I said, salesy or used car salesman or pressury or anything like that. So sometimes, for my clients, I'll help them to craft things like that when they're reaching out to people. But like
Yeah.
you feel
Well,
good and
I feel like because I like the part of me wants to receive help from that, but then I'm like, I feel like maybe this is a chance for me to trust myself. So it feels more like yes, I can receive your help and I would love to receive your help, but I think that maybe this would be a good practice, like a good practice for me to see how I do, like reaching out, because it's definitely a skill that's important for me to have. So I think I want to practice and see how I do. And you can critique me
okay.
and let me know.
I fully trust you with that.
Yeah.
Okay, yay, way to challenge yourself. Perfect. And then I said, do I have your permission to share some of your answers at testimonials for future marketing material that also uses your name? So you said yes, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And then the last part of this I have is, if you feel called to write a testimonial, I would be so honored. Click on the links below to share your success stories so we can help inspire others to achieve similar results. And I know that you're still going to do this later, but just to let everyone know, my strategy behind this is that I always try to think, like, what are the two places that I would like to get reviews the most? And for me, it's my Facebook business page, and then it's my Google page. And I just have them, you don't have to write two separate testimonials. You can just do one and copy and paste it to the other. And then what I do is I add this to my website as well. And then in addition to that, I give people like a little Mad Libs exercise here in case they're not sure how to write a testimonial, which a lot of people have said has been really helpful. And then what I do is, after my clients leave a testimonial, I always send them a little thank you gift in the mail, just as like a celebrating, we're done, yay, you complete your coaching package, and thank you for leaving a testimonial, which helps me to grow my business as well. So I've been doing this for years. It works really well. And, hopefully you all can do something similar.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I can't wait to get to the testimonial. I'm going to work on writing that this week too.
Yeah, perfect. I really appreciate that. They are so gold for a business owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I know that whenever I'm purchasing things, I have to look at the reviews, and the testimonials, and especially if I look for the ones that are like relatable to me too, like if I'm buying clothes, looking for those who are my height, my weight, and all of that makes such a difference. So yeah, testimonials are amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, that is it, Heather. Any last additional thoughts that you want to share with our audience before we close out the season 2 life coaching mentorship series?
Well, it's bittersweet for sure. It's like kind of wild that it's our last session. I'm definitely going to miss meeting with you every week. And I'm just grateful for everyone that's been following this and watching and giving love and support. And yeah, I hope that so many people have gained something from these sessions that they've watched. And, I really would love to. I guess I haven't looked on the YouTube in a while to see any comments of what people are getting from it, but I'd love to, see if there's comments on there. And yeah, I know that your work has just transformed my life so much. And so I hope that this helps others too as they watch this. And I just love what you're doing, how you give like a behind the scenes kind of peek of what it's like to go through a coaching session, and letting people see that. I think that that's so amazing, because a lot of, some people like they just kind of like hold on to these things and keep them to themselves, and they're so scared that if they openly share these things that someone's going to like steal their ideas or steal their material. And so I think that it's so important to share, because we all learn from each other, and there's just like so much abundance in this world that you can only teach the things that you teach the way that you teach them because you're Krista. And, like I can only teach things how I teach them, or, run a business how I run it because I'm Heather. And so there's no like, no reason for that. So I just love how openly you invite people into the behind the scenes and this experience. And I just think it's so amazing, and it's very, very valuable.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for saying that. And it's so true. What you were saying is like, even if someone would completely copy and do everything exactly the way I do it in their own business, we would not be competing against each other, because I still bring my own unique energy and past experience and talents into this business. And when you come from that place, right, of like, yeah, fully trusting yourself, you can give so much more because you're trusting. And yeah, like at the end of the day, no one is going to run my business like me. No one is going to run your business like you. So why wouldn't I let people in on the journey? Why wouldn't I show them the behind the scenes? And by doing these kind of things, that's what helps me to get clients, is because they're like, oh wow, that's so cool. It's all about that trust. Trust is everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Relationship and sales. So I love that you were like, wow, this is really cool. And I see like the value behind, just being so open and transparent and honest, and not being afraid of people stealing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's magnetic. Like there's a magnetism to having such an open heart, and such a giving and sharing heart. I feel like there's this like energetic magnetism that happens, and people just naturally gravitate to that, because it just feels so good, when someone is so open and so giving. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You're so right. All the coaches I've hired in the past, it's because they're so generous with their content and helping people for free. And I mean, they charge a lot for their services, but they're not afraid to give, and they're not afraid to let people into their business in that way. And so you're right. It's so magnetic,
Yeah.
and it's so attractive.
Well, thank you so much, Krista, for everything that you've gifted me. And it was really, really special to be the winner of this, and to, for you to gift so much time to me, for free. So thank you so much for everything that you've given to me, and all the help and support you've given me over this past 3 months, and just the opportunity to work with you and get to experience that. So I just wanted to share my gratitude, and I'm just really grateful to know you, and looking forward to the ways that we connect moving forward.
Thank you so much, Heather. It's been such a delight, such a pleasure. I know this is not the end of our journey together, but no, thank you for being so open to this, and also, sharing your behind the scenes with my audience in the YouTube world as well. It's been a gift.
You're welcome. Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. Well, enjoy your vacation. Enjoy all the creative inspiration and the healing that's going to come from being in nature. And let me know when you get back. I want to hear all about your trip.
Yeah, thank you so much. I will definitely enjoy it. And yeah, I'll send you a message whenever I get back, tell you all about it.
Sounds good. All right.
All
Bye.
right. Bye, Krista.